So we put off getting our visa extensions because we didn't want to have to go back to Managua because it's like a 2-hour ride and a 1.5-hour ferry.
It's windy.
And it's really windy, really hot and flat, but we went up there anyway, and we renewed our visas for ourselves and then got a flat tire on my bike. It was really bad and we couldn't patch it ourselves, but while we're sitting there staring at my messed up tire, this guy rides by, tells us he's a mechanic and his shop's right there, and we follow him over. He takes off his dress shirt because he's like going out to go to the club, and he totally fixed my tire, charged us like $2 for it to like bond a like old tube chunk onto it and somehow like magic it into working. But we didn't have any time to go to the Aduana customs to finish the paperwork for my bike, and they were closed. So we tried to make a border run instead. Matt and Dan came with us on their rental bikes, and we're like, we'll make a little adventure of it and go to the beach and everything. And thought it would be pretty quick and easy. Go to the customs office, get an extension, but they told us we had to exit into Costa Rica, thereby voiding the visas for ourselves that we already paid for, and then re-enter in order to get more time for our bikes.
There's a lot of deliberation, and this guy who's not very friendly told us that we couldn't renew it and that we couldn't get an extension. We had to go back up to Managua.
So we all yelled at each other for a while and then drank some sad beers and decided we needed an adventure. Nicaragua up to this point has been like super flat, and we're like looking at this little dirt road like, yeah, let's just take that road right to the beach. And it ends up being hours and hours of like insane mountain riding.
At first the dirt road was really, really nice and winding through the mountains. The sun was setting and we heard a bunch of howling in the trees, and there were a lot of howler monkeys up there going crazy. So we stopped and we're just listening to them. And then thought, I wonder if they'll respond to us if we rev our bikes. So
Matt had like barely ridden at all before this trip, and we like took him around the island. He did great, and then we're just like running him through the gauntlet. He did a good job anyway. The only reason he crashed on that hill is because his chain broke and his bike lost power, went down and broke the mirror off on his rental bike. And then we didn't have any of our tools to fix it because we thought it was just a quick little border run.
The sun was setting and we were still a little ways from the beach. We just kind of chained his bike to the tree on the side of the road and continued on.
He took Dan's rental bike, and Dan and I rode 2 up on my bike. And eventually, after riding in the dark on a dirt road that was really challenging for a really long time, and we were all really hungry and thirsty, we had like a leftover sandwich from breakfast that morning and like a 1/2 of a water bottle. And we get to the beach kind of hoping there would be something there, but it was
nothing.
Wonderfully secluded, save for millions and millions of hermit crabs. In the morning, we were all just really focused on getting a mechanic and getting Matt's bike fixed, and then we would get breakfast afterward. So we found a mechanic, he jumps on his dirt bike and heads off down the road, and a military checkpoint has materialized in our way overnight.
They were reasonably friendly to us at first and just asked us for our paperwork, kind of normal routine military checkpoint, and everything checked out because we didn't need our extension just yet. We were actually on our last day that we were allowed to be there with the motorcycles, and they just held us there for no reason.
They wouldn't tell us why. They weren't asking for bribes. They wouldn't tell us what they wanted. They said they were waiting for a phone call from their boss. We were really bored, just sitting and waiting, and Dan and I asked if we could go look at the beach, and they were like, yes, but then the guy with a gun like followed us out to like watch us being at the beach. I was like, are we being detained right now? Are we like prisoners? I'm not sure what's happening. And it continued like that for 3 hours, and suddenly they got their magical phone call. We never will know why we were being held, and they let us go. We'd barely had any food or water since like the afternoon before, even, because the sandwiches were like from breakfast. But a friend of the mechanic ran us down some emergency snacks and drinks, and we devoured them down in no time, while he fixed our chain with a wrench and a hammer because he didn't have a chain breaker. It was pretty cool, actually. Then he invited us back to have some freshly caught fish that his wife prepared. Yeah, and we paid him really well for having to sit and wait in a hostage situation with us for 3 hours.